Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. Week 11 of college football was everything we wanted and more, as we saw 9 teams ranked in the top 25 lose this weekend. 7 of those were, of course, from the 7 ranked versus ranked matchups, but we did see 2 ranked teams lose to unranked teams, as Virginia Tech lost on the road to Georgia Tech, and Washington, number 9 in the country, lost on the road to Stanford, just like I predicted. I actually predicted both those games correctly this weekend. And that Washington game pretty much eliminated the Pac-12's hopes of getting a team into the college football playoff. They were the highest ranked team from the conference. Right now, USC will hold that title when the playoff rankings are released tomorrow night, but I do not think they will be able to slip in to the committee's top 4. Now, the biggest games of the weekend, Georgia at Auburn and Notre Dame at Miami, were both major blowouts. Miami taking care of the Fighting Irish 41-8 and making a major statement. And Auburn keeping their playoff hopes and SEC title hopes alive, demolishing Georgia at home, making a very big statement win to the entire country and to the entire conference. You know, as I said, I thought maybe they were a little overrated because I didn't feel like they had played anybody. They had played Clemson and LSU but lost both those games. But they definitely made a huge statement, defeating the number 1 team in the country in dominating fashion. We saw Alabama almost lose on the road to Mississippi State. We saw how key those injuries were to the Alabama defense, but they were able to pull away late for a 31-24 victory on the road, and that was really impressive. And Alabama should slide into that number 1 spot in the committee's rankings tomorrow night. And speaking of that, we know there's going to be major shakeups in the playoff committee's 3rd set of rankings released tomorrow night. Remember, we're going to do a video on that Wednesday, recapping the rankings, seeing if we disagree or agree. The top 4 should change. 2 of the top 4 lost this weekend, Notre Dame and Georgia. So Clemson, Alabama should be a guaranteed spot in the top 4. But now the major question is, who will be the other 2 teams? Will it be Miami? Will it be Wisconsin? Will it be Oklahoma? We're going to have to see who slips into those final 2 spots and who are the 2 teams waiting on the outside. So it's going to be very exciting to see that. Now we're going to give our Week 11 recap here in a second. We're going to give how I did on my records, our overall records, and some teams I have trending up and trending down. But before we begin, just a few comments we got to make real quick. If you didn't see in the news recently, Tennessee just fired their head coach, Butch Jones. They're 4-6 and winless in the SEC. So it was definitely time for a change. I don't blame Tennessee for that fire. I know many Tennessee fans are probably happy with this decision. They lost this past weekend to Missouri, who, granted, is getting a little bit better. They have a very dynamic offense, very explosive, and their defense has definitely gotten better under second-year head coach Barry Odom. Earlier in the summer, I predicted Missouri to defeat Tennessee, and it was at Missouri. People thought I was crazy. But, of course, remember, Tennessee fans were all saying they were going to go 10-2 and 11-1. Butch Jones says Tennessee will lose to Missouri when Vanderbilt wins the SEC. You're high. Well, Vanderbilt, unfortunately, did not win the SEC this year, but Tennessee did lose to Missouri. So I guess, we're 1-1 on that. Andrew Davidson said, you're an a-hole. Missouri's D effing sucks. They sure do. Limiting a team to 17 points definitely shows a sign of a sucky defense. Parker Prophet says, we hung almost 70 points on Missouri last year. Also, you have terrible handwriting. Well, I thought it's gotten better over the past couple months, Parker, but okay. Davis Luna says, everything made sense on your Tennessee video until the loss to Missouri. Seriously? Yes, seriously. And then another game that I'd like to point out, now there are tons of comments on this, I just took a handful. Clemson and Florida State. Remember, Florida State did lose their starting quarterback, DeAndre Francois, in Week 1. Whether or not he got injured or not, I still thought Clemson would be able to defeat the Seminoles at home. They were big favorites at home. That game ended up being a lot closer than many expected. Florida State hung in the game for a while before Clemson was able to pull away late for a 31-14 victory. Little Boat says, Clemson ain't beating FSU. Yes, they are. NW Production said, explain how Florida State is going to lose to Clemson. Well, you see, when one team scores more points than the other, that means they win. That's how Clemson beat Florida State. They scored more points than Florida State. Timotheus Production says, this guy is an idiot. Clemson lost everyone. Well, apparently not everyone, as they were able to take care of Florida State in ACC play. Granted, they were heavy favorites because of the quarterback loss, but had DeAndre Francois still been healthy, I still would have picked the Tigers in that one. So, just a couple of things had to address there. Now, we're going to give our Week 11 recap, show how we did this week, and let me tell you, it was a solid week. 28-7, right at 80%. I'm very happy with that. There were a couple of games here and there that I missed. Pittsburgh lost at home to North Carolina. Both of those, Pittsburgh I was perfect on at the time. I can't believe they lost at home to North Carolina. I believe that game they only lost by 3 points. So that was unfortunate. And a couple other games I did miss here and there, whether, teams that overperformed or underperformed. But remember, I'm not changing my predictions from the summer. Whether a team's dealt with injuries, overperformed, underperformed, they're all staying the same since the summer, so I'm not changing that. That brings our overall record to 335-106. That round that up, that's a 76% winning percentage, which is a very good spot to be in with 2 weeks left in the season to reach our goal of 75% or better, which I think is extremely solid. That's 3 out of 4 right on every week. So I think that's a very solid record. Of course, we did reach our 100th loss this weekend, but we knew that was coming. Teams that I have trending down. Duke. Now, this was a team a couple weeks ago, or probably a couple months ago. I had Duke on my teams trending up. They were 4-0 to start the season. And they looked like not really ACC title contenders, but looked like they could salvage a 7 to 8 win season, especially with the way they played last year. Since that 4-0 start, they have lost 6 straight. They are 4-6 with 2 weeks left in the season. They'll be lucky to get to a bowl game. I think they'll end up finishing 5-7, which I believe is what I predicted them to have back in the summer. But that's just a horrible way to go. Starting at 4-0, you just need 2 wins for the rest of the season, and they're going to both have to come in these next 2 weeks to get to a bowl game. And then, of course, Tennessee, we've already addressed that. They are also 4-6, need 2 wins to get to a bowl. They fired Butch Jones on Sunday. They need 2 wins against Vanderbilt and LSU to get to a bowl game. This Saturday, they do face LSU at home. Don't see that happening with everything that's going on. But Tennessee is definitely a team trending down. I've had them on here a couple times throughout the season, but they're definitely really, really trending down now. Teams trending up. Wake Forest. I'm buying in. I've seen a bunch of y'all's comments talking about how good Wake Forest is and how I've been wrong, and I know I was wrong. I had them going 2-10. If you listen to my video, I had them ranging from 2-10 to 4-8, anywhere in between there. And I definitely missed the mark. I didn't expect much out of the Demon Deacons this year, and here they are. They clinched bowl eligibility in a shootout at Syracuse, and I was very impressed by that win. With it being on the road and with Syracuse having such an explosive offense, I thought that would be a loss, but I did think Wake Forest would end up getting a bowl berth after that game. But they were able to get it on the road at Syracuse. They have the potential for an 8-win season. I think they'll split their last 2 games to finish 7-5, but a very solid season for the Demon Deacons. They proved me wrong. I had them trending up because they were able to clinch bowl eligibility this weekend. And then West Virginia is a team that has won 4 of their last 5 Big 12 games. This past weekend, they got a key win at Kansas State. Pretty tough place to play. Not a bad team at all. It was a 28-23 victory on the road. And they are still in the hunt for the Big 12 title, the Big 12 championship game right now. They have a game to close the season against Oklahoma, and that game will be huge. They can upset the Sooners, which I don't think they will, but if they can, they could easily slip in to the Big 12 championship game. Unfortunately, they won't be in the running for the college football playoff, but they already have 3 losses. But sitting at 7-3, winning 4 of their last 5 is very impressive. Got some key road wins in there. And that game against Oklahoma will be very big for the Sooners, since West Virginia is still a very dangerous team. And I know I've said it before, I don't usually put teams that are in the top 10, maybe even the top 15 on my teams trending up, but I had to throw Miami on there just because, a lot of people thought, including myself a little bit, were they a little overrated? They were sitting at 7th in the country going into this Notre Dame game. But how good were they really? They had made a good statement win against Virginia Tech, defeating them 28-10. But before then, they had 4 close losses against kind of some subpar ACC opponents. But this Saturday, they proved everybody in the country wrong, showing that they could compete for that college football playoff spot, killing Notre Dame 41-8. It was a dominant defensive performance. I was very impressed with the Hurricanes. They have a date against Clemson, the ACC championship, here in a few weeks. They shouldn't lose before then. So that game against Clemson could be a play-in game to see who gets into the college football playoff. So I'm extremely excited for that game. Had to throw Miami on my teams trending up, even though they are ranked in the top 10 and could easily be ranked in the top 4 when the playoff rankings are released tomorrow on Tuesday. But I had to throw them on there because they really just impressed me this weekend against Notre Dame. Now, remember, tomorrow, the rankings are coming out. The college football playoff rankings are coming out. The 3rd set. And we're getting into the nitty-gritty here. We got 2 weeks left, and then Conference Championship week before we determine who the top 4 teams in the playoff are. We will have a video Wednesday to discuss these playoff rankings like we have the past couple of times. We'll discuss if we agree or disagree, show teams that have moved up or moved down in the rankings, and see what's going to happen. We'll share some predictions that we think will happen over the next 2 weeks as well. We might even discuss some conference championship games as well. So make sure you keep your eye on that. And also on Wednesday, keep your eye out for our Week 12 preview video. We're going to do a little early this week, so make sure you keep your eye on that. 2 videos coming on Wednesday, playoff rankings and Week 12 preview. So watch out for that. Thank you for watching. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you next time on The Gridiron Expert.